What's going on to my sports junkies, my four-lifers, the diehards, and the sad little people whose team may never won a damn thing? But hey, I can relate. Welcome to all my listeners, whether you're watching on YouTube or audio only. This is another episode of Break the Huddle podcast. This week we going into our NFL Week 10 predictions. So settle in, grab your jersey, and let's break the huddle.
Who's got my back? Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got that swerve? I got that swerve.
And we are recording this after Thursday Night Football, where the Cincinnati Bengals go into M&T Stadium and lose in a nail-biter 34-35, where Joe Burrow throws for 428 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson throws for 290 and 4 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks played spectacular. It was really interesting to see that Baltimore Ravens pass defense still needs a lot of work, as Jamar Chase racked up 11 catches, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But the Ravens won in different ways, and Zach Taylor opted to go for the 2-point conversion at the end of the game.
Left side. To the right side he goes. Incomplete.
To avoid overtime. I think a lot of teams should consider that when you have Justin Tucker, the best kicker in the game, and then you have Lamar Jackson, where you don't have to drive the field to win all the time, where you could just get it close enough, and then Justin Tucker will just knock that one in. He's the best kicker of all time. Gritty win by the Baltimore Ravens. I just don't see a path to the playoffs for the Cincinnati Bengals, falling to 4-6. It's interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out. Joe Burrow has been playing spectacular. He's been playing lights out, but that team overall is just not that good to get over the hump. So, yeah. All right, starting off with our first game, we got our 9:30 international game. You got the New York Football Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. Both teams 2-7, both fighting for that number 1 draft choice. But I do think the Giants take this game. The spread is -6.5. The money line -275. I like what the Giants have been doing. They've shown the ability to play in close games, and when they are clicking, they're simply the better team than the Panthers. The Panthers have been selling people off. Bryce Young has shown some bright spots, but give me the Giants -6.5. For our second game, we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams fighting for different things. Jaguars fighting to stay alive. Doug Peterson fighting for a job. But the Vikings, they're fighting for a playoff position. They're fighting to get better. I'll take, with Brian Flores defense flying around like that, and the Jaguars offense seemingly sometimes in disarray, give me the points. I like Vikings -7. For our next game, we got the 2-7 New England Patriots versus the 4-4 Chicago Bears. We got the battle of rookie quarterbacks again. We got Caleb Williams versus Drake May. Now, I like what I saw from Drake May versus Tennessee Titans last week. Once he figures it out, it could get scary. He looks really good at times. But I do think Caleb has a little bit more experience now. He's had some wins, he's had some losses. I do think that the Chicago Bears are better than the New England Patriots. So I'll take the points at -6. I think it might be closer than that. So give me an all spread of -3 for the Chicago Bears. But the Chicago Bears is definitely winning this game. For our next game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Washington Commanders. Steelers 6-2, Washington Commanders 7-2. Now, this might be one of the Commanders' toughest defenses that they're going up against with Mike Tomlin's Steelers. But with Jaden Daniels coming alive, he's showing a lot of promise. But actually, I think Russell Wilson has the veteran presence enough to get his guys going in this game. I like the accuracy that I've seen from Russell Wilson in these past couple games. He's showing the ability to move the ball down the field, and I think the Steelers come out on top. And so I'll take Steelers +3 in this game. We got the 4-4 San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they play hard. They like to stay in it. They are a tough matchup week in and week out. And they're fun to watch. Literally fun to watch. I love Baker Mayfield. I love what he's doing this week. But the 49ers, they've just been hit with the injury bug. It looks like Christian McCaffrey might be coming back this week. Give me the 49ers -6.5. I do think that they'll pull it off. This team is better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the 49ers have enough manpower to prove it at -6.5, so I'll take them. Next, we got a divisional matchup. We got Atlanta Falcons versus New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints are down in the dumps. They're 2-7. The Falcons are sitting at the top of the division at 6-3. This is still an interesting game because Saints just fired Dennis Allen, so you know how the team likes to get inspired after a coaching change. But Chris Olave has been sidelined after that gruesome hit last week. They just sold off Marshawn Lattimore at the deadline. This Saints team just doesn't give me enough confidence to think that they're going to do anything interesting. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to rise up and beat them. Give me the points at -3.5. All right, so for our next game, we got the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos are a tough team to play. You can see throughout the weeks it's starting to click for Bo Nix. He's starting to figure out what he can do, what he can't do, what works best for him. The Broncos play a hard brand of defense, and it's always clear as day, but the Kansas City Chiefs are rolling, and it looks like they finally got DeAndre Hopkins rolling, and that's scary for everyone out there. DeAndre Hopkins lit it up last week with 2 touchdown performance, and I don't see him stopping the connection that he's building with Patrick Mahomes against the Denver Broncos. Now, I do believe that the point spread is a little generous just because I believe the Broncos play the Chiefs particularly harder in this divisional matchup. Give me the bloody Chiefs -3.5, just in case. Just in case. For the next game, we got the Buffalo Bills visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Now what we saw the Colts do last week on Sunday Night Football does not inspire me to believe that they could make a +4 cover. But on the flip side, what the Buffalo Bills have shown me with these acquisitions and in the trade, and guys are getting more healthy. Keon Coleman is starting to click a little bit more with Josh Allen. Offense is starting to come together and look a little bit more cohesive. I like the Buffalo Bills to cover this one easy at -4, and I don't even think it's going to be a fair game because the Colts started Joe Flacco because they didn't like what Anthony Richardson was doing, but Joe Flacco's pushing 40, and we've already known what Joe Flacco's done in the NFL. It's not enough. Joe Flacco was good earlier in his career, but there's this illusion that Joe Flacco is gonna make the Colts a playoff team or something. And I'm here to tell anybody who's listening that is not a fact. Joe Flacco is a backup. Joe Flacco is not going to have some Tom Brady-like performance late in his career. He was just on the couch 2 seasons ago. He came in, he came in for the Browns, he showed out, and he's had some bright spots this season, but overall, Joe Flacco is just not your guy. He's going to make turnovers. He didn't move the ball last week particularly well. Maybe that's a credit to Vikings defense, but it's just not happening, guy. It's just not happening. Next game in the 4 o'clock window, we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Titans 2-6, Chargers 5-3. Now, I love what Justin Herbert is doing. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but he's been throwing the ball a lot. Quentin Johnson, I used to think Quentin Johnson was never going to pan out. I thought he was never going to do nothing good. I thought he was an absolute first-round bust. But it looks like Justin Herbert and Quentin Johnson has locked the fuck in. And they're doing their thing with Jordan Palmer over there, with J.K. Dobbins. I like what Harbaugh is doing. Give me Chargers -7.5. I think they win this one easily. All right, for our next game, we got the New York Jets versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this might be one of the games I'm going to pay close attention to just because we all saw what the Jets did last week. They looked like a real football team. Hassan Reddick is in the lineup making havoc. I don't know if anybody was watching that game last week, but Hassan Reddick showed up and showed out last week. And he had some pressures. I like the addition of him on that D-line. It makes that Jets defense tougher. It genuinely makes that Jets defense tougher. I'm really glad that he ended that holdout. Tay Adams and Rodgers starting to click. It's getting scary, boys. It's getting scary. He's not even an ex-receiver. Come on. Because, Big Garrett over there Big Garrett over there catching everything and anything. He's first round pick on my fantasy team now. He's killing. So I'm inspired by the brand of offense that the Jets showed last week, but the Cardinals, they play hard, they play tough. I like the spread. Give me the Jets -1.5. I think Rodgers edges this one out to continue a win streak and continue his pursuit to the playoffs, because there is a path. For our last game out of the 4 o'clock window, we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowgirls. Anyway, Eagles 6-2, Cowboys 3-5, man. Cowboys are down in the dumps, man. Dak's not playing. CD's a little banged up. On the flip side, the Eagles are rolling. Saquon Barkley has been a revelation for that offense. It looks strong. It looks powerful. He's just coming off one of the craziest plays I've seen in a long time by a running back. A.J. Brown left the game last week, but he returned to practice a couple days ago. We could probably expect him to give it a go this Sunday. But either way, you still got Devontae Smith doing his thing. He just made a crazy catch as well. I think the Eagles go into Jerry World and win convincingly. So give me Eagles -7.5, because if you're running out there with Cooper Rush, it's going to get ugly. For our Sunday night football matchup, we got the Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans. Now, Lions 7-1, Texans 6-3. Texans coming off a loss from the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football last week. But I just don't see a path to victory. I don't see a path to victory for the Detroit Lions. I don't see a path of victory for the Houston Texans when the Lions have just shown a certain level of dominance and a certain level of aggression that some teams have just failed to match. For the Lions, Jared Goff has been playing unbelievable football these past couple of weeks. He has his offense clicking. He's doing what he needs to. If he needs a big game with his arm, he's going to give you a big game with his arm. But if they don't need that, he's also fine with that. He's just going to make the right throws at the right time. It's killing opponents every single week. For the Texans, things are looking a little shaky. Diggs out for the year. Nico Collins, he's on track, but they still haven't even designated an actual return time for Nico Collins to come back into the lineup. So you got C.J. Stroud playing hero ball at times. It doesn't really look that good. Give me the Detroit Lions and the points at -3.5. For Monday Night Football, you got the Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this one is interesting because the Rams are finally healthy and they're finally in motion. They're finally getting a groove. They're sitting at 4-4. Matt Stafford got them boys balling. Puka is back. Kupp is back. Kyron Williams is still doing what Kyron Williams does. But it's an interesting spot there because I'm more interested in the improvement of the Rams defense. Interesting these past couple of weeks, making plays at the most opportune times. For the Miami Dolphins, they keep it interesting. They keep it close. I like the improvement of quarterback play from Tua since his return. It looks like he's getting stronger and stronger by the week. That offense is really starting to come alive. Tyreek Hill is starting to look a lot more like Tyreek Hill week by week. I just don't think that the Dolphins have enough here. It'll be a close one, but the Rams have just shown a lot more promise these past couple weeks that give me the confidence to take this spread. I like the Rams -1. I think they get it done on Monday night, and they improve to 5-4. All right, y'all. That's our NFL Week 10 picks. If you listen to me, you're going to get rich with me. You know what I'm saying? Look, good luck to everybody. Good luck to them parlays. Deuces.
Who's got my back? Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got that swerve? I got that swerve.